about this comment because I know the Patriots just didn't go to him and be like, you know something, you want some more money?
Here it is.
So to me, Rob Gronkowski and him trying to decide if I'm going to continue playing football, haven't decided yet. But I could be swayed into playing with a little more money. So absolutely, because they got money to give them. They have gotten off with the Tom Brady deal for a number of years, with Tom Brady giving them whatever you want to call it, hometown discount. Tom Brady hasn't benefited for that because the Patriots have not spent up to the cap, up to that line, that threshold every year. Every year they've had money available. So they should give it to the player. Tom Brady should get a pay raise, and Gronk should get a pay raise. It's not something that New England does, and I'm not worried about a precedent getting started. These players have earned it.
That's the thing. Sometimes teams say, I remember when I was in Houston, for example, they had a rule. Rick Smith, and he was the GM there before he took a leave of absence. We never negotiate deals during the season.
And a lot of teams have rules similar to that.
There's a precedent. We never do this. We never negotiate deals 2 years early. We'll do it 1 year early, but 2 years early. But guess what? J.J. Watt comes around and wins Defensive Player of the Year a couple of years into the league, and he gets a new deal 2 years early. And that doesn't create conflict within the team because the players know, okay, well, this guy is a special circumstance. If you do something for Brady, or even if you do something for Gronk, the other guys on the team know, well, these are our two best players. These are the guys on the team with the most championships. These are the most longest tenured players for all intents and purposes. So I don't think it sets a negative precedent. I also think the retirement thing is real. And I think with Brady saying publicly, I'm going to play at least 2 more years, they don't just want Gronk back this year. They want to incentivize Rob Gronkowski to play at least 2 more years as well. As long as Brady's there, their Super Bowl window is wide open, so you want Rob Gronkowski there. So if it costs you a few extra $1 million that you don't have to pay him, I absolutely would do it.
Is most of that incentive-based, though, for what he'll get?
I think you can combine it in incentives because it's hard to give a player like Rob Gronkowski incentives because he's played to such a high level. I mean, what do you make the incentive at? 1,000 yards? Well, he's done that multiple times. 10 touchdowns, you make. If you're going to them for an increase in pay and it's based on you playing well, you want that in your base salary.
Yeah.
No, I want that in my base salary and then all the extra things. I already have those in my contract anyway.
So a base salary, I just want to renegotiate. I just want to get a couple of these down because I never
and you got to get Brumley in there for handle care.
Brumley.
You got to get Brumley in there.
Where's Witt?
Yeah, and no, don't worry about Witt. Shanks is in town.
Shanks.
You can holler at him.
Let's just do this.
There you go.
Okay.
You're teaching me well.
Listen,
the student has been
overplaying your hand a little bit here.
Just a little bit.
Yeah, he goes by ES.
Yes.
No,
what up, G? What up, B? Moving on to the Cowboys. Their offense will
send your applications if you want to replace Jeff.
Right. We love you, Eric Shanks. Their offense will look a little different this year after some big changes over the last few weeks. They released Des Bryant back on April 13th. Then Jason Witten retired last Thursday. Cowboys CEO Stephen Jones knows things won't be the same. Take a listen.
Jason and Des, Tony, you know, they've been kind of synonymous with these Cowboys the last 10 years, so I understand that. At the same time, we've got a lot of great young players who are coming with Zeke and Dak and, you know, our offensive line and, you know, a lot of young guys to point to now. So, you know, I don't really look at it as a transition as much as I do just resetting.
Not so much a transition as a resetting. CC, do you think the Cowboys have enough talent to compete for a championship?
I think they have enough talent to compete in the NFC. I don't think they have enough talent to compete for a Super Bowl. I worry about their playmakers offensively. Of course, we've been over this as far as the lack of speed, the lack of proven playmakers that they have in their offense outside of Ezekiel Elliott, the tailback, and defensively. How good are they going to be? Are they going to be able to get to the passer? Are the linebackers going to stay healthy? And their secondary, which was very young, probably played better than people expected. Where do they go from here as a group? So there's a lot of question marks. I like where the Cowboys are at, absent of not knowing who's going to be their #1 receiver.
Listen, the last time I saw a team compete for a Super Bowl, get to the Super Bowl with a team built like this was the 2005 Super Bowl between the Steelers and Seahawks. And by that I mean a team don't have a dominant defense, don't have a dominant quarterback, but have a great offensive line and a great running back. That's what Seattle had with Sean Alexander, with Walter Jones, that's how they got there, and to a degree that was similar actually to what Pittsburgh had that year with Ben Roethlisberger as a young player before he was a star. But over the last 15 years or so, how do you make the Super Bowl? Either you have an amazing defense or an amazing offense. Like, I know that sounds silly. Let me rephrase it. Amazing defense or an amazing quarterback, right? Like Philly last year, we thought they had both. They ended up by the Super Bowl only having the amazing defense, but their quarterback then played great. Like, I just haven't seen this done recently, where a team, how are we going to get there? We got a great running back. We have a great offensive line. Now, because they have that, and that travels, and that's really weather independent. They're going to be a team that their basement's very high. Like, it's hard to see the Cowboys being an awful team when you have Zeke Elliott and a great offensive line. But I just don't see enough explosion. And explosion doesn't just mean pass catchers. It means guys' ability to get to the quarterback or force turnovers. Who are those guys on Dallas?
Yeah, the one thing the question that we haven't had answered is, what if Dak turns into what Coach Mangini calls a force multiplier?
There you go.
He makes the wide receivers better. He makes the tight ends better than what they are, which we see with some of the elite quarterbacks. Then Dallas has that capability. Say their defense goes from a top 15 defense to a top 5 defense. Then they have that ability with a good defense and the ability to churn out the clock. And listen, don't forget the type of football they play. It's a hard type of football to defend. It's hard to duplicate week after week, but when you get into the playoffs, you can do that for a month of time.
Okay, so how much of this is predicated on Dak Prescott and hoping we see the Dak Prescott from year 1 and not the one we saw in year 2?
No different than you. You're the quarterback of this show. It's impossible for them to play well without him playing well. It's impossible for us to play well without you playing well. It's the responsibility of the quarterback. We give them too much credit and give them too much blame. So, yes, the Dallas Cowboys, they got the same pressure Jenna Wolf got.
I feel it. We're the same. I always say, guys, I'm just like the Dallas Cowboys.
That's totally correct. And when we're talking about competing within the NFC, within the conference, I just want to go through the quarterbacks real quick. Here are the quarterbacks in the NFC that I am certain are better than Dak. Wentz, Rodgers, Breeze, Ryan, Russ.
Wait, slow down.
Yeah.
Wait.
Go a little slower.
This is the NFL?
All right, in the NFC, just the NFC, the quarterbacks that I'm certain are better than Dak.
Carson Wentz,
Aaron Rodgers, Drew Brees, Matt Ryan, Russell Wilson, Kirk Cousins, Cam Newton. There's 7. All right, that's 7. Only 6 make the playoffs. Now, how about quarterbacks that I think Dak is in competition with? Jimmy Garoppolo, Matt Stafford.
Whoa.
Jared Goff, Alex Smith, Eli Manning. Maybe Jameis, throw Jameis out. So, and then the quarterback, here, maybe this is the more important names. Here are the quarterbacks I'm certain Dak's better than. Mitch Trubisky and Sam Bradford. That's it, in the whole conference. So when we're talking about Dak needing to be good, he needs to be really good because the great quarterbacks are now in the NFC. For a long time, it was like, oh, Big Ben, Peyton, Brady, Rivers, all these guys in the AFC. That's not the case anymore. The quarterbacks are over in the NFC. So Dak doesn't just have to be better than last year. Dak could be way better than last year and still the 8th best quarterback in the conference.
And that's why it's important for that defense to be, because that's who they're going against. So does ball control win out over these great quarterbacks going against your young defense?
And Dak's got his work cut out for him. He's not going to have the comfort level and the familiarity of a Jason Witten or a Dez or someone to throw the ball to that he knows. He's going to have to work with almost all new weapons, so it's a lot for him to do.
And we've talked about the benefit of having the rookie quarterbacks or the quarterbacks on a rookie contract. With Dallas, that benefit's muted because they're still paying Tony Romo. The Dallas Cowboys this year, CC, the salary cap's $177 million. They're spending $23 million on players who aren't on the team.
Dead money.
13% of your cap is on dead money. What could that go to?
That could be 5 good players.
Or it could have been Sammy Watkins plus another couple decent players. Like, you have $23 million that allocated to guys who no longer play football for you. That's a tough putt. And when I'm going to do one other cap thing. You got $86 million to your offensive and defensive line. You got $23 million to guys who don't play for you. That leaves less than $70 million for every linebacker, safety, defensive back, wide receiver, tight end, running back on your team. Less than $70 million for all the guys that we consider playmakers. Like, that's a tough putt.
Maybe they'll all take a hometown discount.
Yeah.
Maybe every single position will take a hometown discount.
Man, they're making a good contribution to television.
Absolutely right. Yeah.
All right, we got to take a break. Coming up, how much pressure is Carson